Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Excellent.
Yes, sir.
Now, I have a question there. Which is a better profession? Lawyers, judges? I'm sure all of you have an opinion. We can always add a no idea. In case somebody has no idea. Yeah,
Judges, sir.
judges. What is your good name? One by one, everybody has to respond. So one fellow has said judge.
Lawyers.
Lawyers.
Lawyers, sir.
Lawyers. Another one. Please respond.
Lawyers, lawyers, sir.
One by one. Yeah, you can say your name and then respond. Yeah, I'm waiting for a response.
Sir,
Lawyers.
I am Priyanka Sinha, and my opinion is lawyers.
Lawyers. Okay. That's the way to respond. Very good. Excellent, Priyanka. Next.
My name is
Uh,
Sir,
Yeah.
I think both profession has equal importance.
You have no idea. Excellent.
Sir,
Next.
I said no idea, no, sir. Sir, I think both have equal
That means
importance.
you have no idea which one is more important. I'm asking a simple question. Which is a better profession? You have to give me one answer. If you don't give me one answer, it is a bogus vote. It
Sir,
goes to no
no, sir. Sorry, sir. Then I think lawyer.
lawyer. Okay. Next.
Yes, sir. My name is Shashank Shrestha, and I think lawyer.
Okay. Next.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Ankesh. Sir, I will go by judges.
Okay.
Sir,
Next.
this is Kumari
My name
Anupya.
Mm-hmm.
and sir, judges. I guess
Kumari,
judges.
Kumari, wait, Kumari has to respond.
Yes, sir, this
Kumari.
is Kumari Anupya. Sir, my response is towards judges.
Okay. Next.
Sir, my name
Good
is Karan.
Sir, my name is
Karan. Okay,
Sir,
Karan,
judge-
respond.
Judges. For
Judges.
judges, judges. Yes, sir.
Okay. After Karan.
Sir, Deepshikha, my opinion is judges.
Okay, Deepshikha, judges. Next.
This is
Good
Farhat.
afternoon,
I
sir.
believe
My
the
name is
lawyers.
Farhat, respond.
Yes, sir.
Lawyers.
The lawyers.
Okay.
Yes.
As you can see, I'm recording your responses also.
Good afternoon, sir.
Sir,
My
this
name is
Vivek,
Kumar
sir.
Arnav.
Vivek, Abhinav. Okay. Abhinav, respond.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Kumar Arnav, and my answer is judge, sir.
Judge. Okay. Next.
Sir, this is
Sir,
Vivek, sir. I would prefer
Vivek.
lawyers.
Excuse me.
Vivek goes for
Yes,
lawyers.
sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, Arnav here, sir.
Mm-hmm. Arnab, you said judges.
Sir, Yes, sir. The only one request, sir. So you have started with this only, sir. Because
What?
I am in hospital.
You are in?
So uh, you have started this topic only, sir. Uh, because I am in hospital, I have not got the past 15 minutes what you have told, sir.
Yeah, I've started with this only, nothing else.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
I've
Yes,
started with this only. So now we stop
Okay.
taking responses. Okay, we
Sir,
stop taking responses.
my name is Shavi Sharma.
Mm-hmm.
My response is judges.
Okay, we'll take that. Now we will stop. No more responses, please. Now you understand what is our topic. It is research, right? Now, in research, what we do is we have a lot of things to discuss. Scaling. We have to understand how we record responses, how we interpret responses, how we produce responses. Like you go to the newspaper and you will find that every week when a movie is released, there is a star rating. Star rating from 1 to 5. And there are 3 kinds of star rating. One is critics star rating, one is audience star rating. These are nothing but opinion. So what we are doing right now is an opinion poll. We are trying to take the opinion of the people. Now you are the most concerned people about lawyers and judges because that is your future. So your responses are recorded. Now I cannot put in anywhere my own response. If I do that, it will be a biased research. This is totally an unbiased research. I have nothing to say. Whether a lawyer is good or judge, even now I don't know which is better. People have responded and they have, what do people think is what I have to represent as a researcher. So how do we go about doing it? Now this is of course, sigma is of course sum of. So I add the entire sum of judges, whatever response I have got till here, and I have got this 7 people say judges, and how many people say lawyer? 7 people say lawyers. Okay, this is the response that I have got, and I take this. This is the total response. Now, I must present it in a manner which is acceptable to all.
Sir,
Yeah,
sir, this recording will be saved in the file, sir.
yeah, it will be saved in the file,
Okay,
as you can
thank you,
see.
sir.
So you can
Yes, sir, yes.
see the preferred profession. And when we represent it as a graph, in one instance, you know that 50-50 is the opinion of the people. Of course, we can, as you can see, we can have a lot of layouts, different kinds, which we can select. Okay. And we can make a lot of changes to this as required. These are the various changes possible. And you need not have a pie graph only, you can have any kind of graph. So when I go for an insert, there are various kinds of graphs which are shown here. I can go for a bar graph also. The 3D looks better. So you see, with the same data, I can see both professions have got equal number of people responding. Okay. Now, when you said lawyers or judges, you did not believe that this would be the result, right? The result which has come is unexpected, because you firmly believed that lawyer is a better profession. That is why you said it. Or a judge is a better profession. That is why you said that. But a researcher is unbiased and he takes the opinion and is able to present it in this manner. You understand? If you have any questions, please ask. Of course, without a doubt, for certain kinds of responses, certain type of, if there are many options to answer, then bar chart is preferred. If one or two is there, then pie chart is preferred. So all those things are there. Okay. Is it clear so far, whatever I've told you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. If you have any questions, please let me know. Or if you have any doubts. And now you can, when you are doing your own research, you can frame questionnaires. Framing a questionnaire basically means framing a question which has got responses. Now, these responses can be of several types. What kind of response did we have? Anybody can tell me what kind of response did this question have? What is it called? No one? Dichotomous, which basically means two responses are there, yes or no, male or female. These are all dichotomous responses. And what we have done is a simple frequency table. This is a frequency table. Okay. So what is the frequency of response for each is noted here. And then we total it and we make the graph. This is known as, of course, there can be three options also. Like no idea was also there. In that case, will it be a, what will we call it? Then we have 5. 5 is known as, that is popular, Likert scale. Then we have 7, semantic scale. Okay. Now, we have to understand that these, of course, are names of scientists who have given us these scales. Compared to dichotomous, Likert scale is better. Why? Because it has 5 responses. Normally, we take responses based on what is known as, we take the responses which are abstract in nature. So abstract means there is a lack of clarity, especially in social sciences, law, management. We have these kinds of responses because they are abstract in nature. For example, level of satisfaction, okay, level of say contentment or happiness. These are abstract feelings. So two people could be happy, but still they could be happy at a different level. One is happier than the other. How do we measure and distinguish that? That is why Likert table is used. So if it comes to Likert table, how many responses we will have? 5. For semantic, we will have 7. So in that case, we will make a 5-point scale, which will be like, say, very happy, happy, neither happy nor sad, sad, very sad. Okay. Very satisfied, satisfied, don't know, unsatisfied, extremely unsatisfied. Now, whenever you make such a scale, remember that these scales, how are scales developed? Any idea how a scale is developed? For example, how a meter is developed? Did God give us that this is a meter, this is a foot, this is a pound?
No, sir.
No, we made it ourselves. How did we make it? We took
By a response,
yeah, please respond.
with the responser, we have developed the skills.
Not with the response. These scales have been arbitrarily taken. For example, one person took a length of a platinum rod and he said that this is 1 meter. And that is, of course, if you search the Google, you will find it is kept somewhere safely. And that becomes 1 meter. Now, to have a kilometer, you have to have 1,000 of such meters. And if you have to have a millimeter, you have to divide it by 1,000. Then you get a millimeter. So this scale was arbitrarily taken. And then we said that, so it is our own creation. God did not create scale. We created them. Similarly, a length is taken and they called it as yard. That is, of course, the FPS system, British FPS system. This is the MKS system. So it's a system. So now they call it a yard. And if you divide it by 3, you call it a foot. And further, you can multiply the yard and call it fathoms and so on. So these are all developed by human beings. Similarly, in science, these are developed and then given to us, whether it is weight or whether it is length. These are all standards. And so if you follow the MKS system and if you mix it with the FPS system, it will not work. You have to have one system only to compare and see that your scales are proper. So you cannot ever mix two kinds together. Now, in social science, we develop our own scale. So we start by defining our scale. What is our scale? What kind of scale we are taking? And how we are going to measure it. And in this, do not mix up two kinds of scale together because then you will not get proper result. Just like in science. Social science also, they have to keep one scale. Another problem is when you are developing a scale, you have to be careful. If the response to one question is very satisfied, satisfied, don't know, unsatisfied, extremely unsatisfied, then in the next, you cannot start with extremely unsatisfied. You have to start with a similar scale. For example, 0, if you start with 0, you have to start with 0. You cannot start with 10 and then go down to 0. Then what will happen? Both the scales will nullify each other. So you have to take one kind of scale and move forward. Then you have the semantic scaling, is a 7-point scale. In 7-point scale, obviously there will be 7 points. Why we take usually odd numbers is because then you have a central point and you have a distribution on the other side. So 5 point, 7 point, 2 point, 3 point, these are all common and they are used. So this is what scaling does. And that is how we interpret the scaling. And on the scale, we take responses. Now, we have to make what is known as a master table. For making a master table, Excel gives us an excellent master table facility. We have, say, respondents on one side. Respondents are those who are answering questions. For example, you were answering question right now. So you were a respondent. And then in a questionnaire set, I can have question 1, question 2, and one respondent will be answering to several questions. Question 3, question 4, and so on. And on the other side, you will have respondent 1, 2, 3. These are different people. You can write their names also, who have responded, and what they have responded for each question, only one entry will go. And then we can make a comprehensive table. And this table can always be created into a graph. Okay, you can have one graph for one question. You can have several graphs that way. So you can have, your research work can become very thick, which is always a desirable. You have got for every question a graph like this, like the one we have seen. So it occupies almost a page, and one is very happy. I have done it. It looks good also. In fact, that is one of the advantages, that it looks good. It is able to depict the entire story in one go. People can interpret it very easily. These are the advantages of doing such an effort. And that is why we go for statistics. These are the benefits of statistics. Yes, somebody was asking a question. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, as you made the master table, sir, like in PhD thesis or in in the LLM also in dissertation, sir, we
will be doing it.
questions to we will be asking the questions to the to the general public. So there is, I think there is two kind of question: open question and closed question. In closed question, sir, anyone can give it. Like we can ask them to give brief summary. Why do you think this legislation is good or this legislation is bad? Then then that case how to make the master table, sir, out of that responses?
Good question. So you are worried about the open-ended questions. Now, let me tell you, research is of several types. Okay, first you have to understand how many types of research are there. We have exploratory research. We have action research. We have a lot of kinds of research are there. Primary research, secondary research. We have, if you look up, you will find that it is very confusing also at times. So, of course, I will make it very clear how you can avoid the confusion. See, for different purposes, they have been bifurcated in different manners. So, for example, in teaching, we say it's a basic research if it doesn't have a practical, and it is an applied research if it is industry oriented or practical oriented. So these are the two types of research when it comes to universities: a basic research or an applied research. A basic research would be something which will remain in the thesis, while an applied research would possibly be shared by the industry, because they are the ones who have raised the question and they want the answer to the question. You understand? And for another purpose, for example, for the government purposes, action research becomes very important because they have spent money and some action is going on and they want a response on that. So for different purposes, we have different types of research and we call them as such. Now, when it comes to open-ended question, it actually belongs to a category which is known as exploratory research or pilot studies. So whenever you have an exploratory research or pilot studies, you will be doing open-ended question. Now, these open-ended exploratory research by itself is usually not a research. It is a prelude to a research because, as you know, research costs a lot of money, time, effort, energy. And at the end of that, if your research is inconclusive or if you don't have the proper way in which your research has been done, or then all this money goes to waste. So for that purpose, we have what is known as exploratory research or pilot studies. Pilot studies, you will find a lot of things already done. Exploratory research, we have open-ended questions. For example, if I have to have a question like, which is the best shampoo? Then if I go for writing a questionnaire myself, my own knowledge is limited because I don't use too many shampoos. I use maybe one or two, and I can maybe recall another one or two from the market, and then I will ask which is the best shampoo, and I'll give 2 or 3 options. But that is not the proper way. The proper way would be to go for an exploratory research, ask people to respond. Now they will write down maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 names. And when I assimilate, say 100 responses, I get 10 which are frequently mentioned. And then there will be a option, others, please specify. So now what happens is this becomes a 10-point scale or an 11-point scale, and I get the response, and I can have a close-ended question following the exploratory research, which is more authentic, more clear, and more detailed. So that is how open-ended questions are not used to make master table. Only close-ended questions are used to make master table. Open-ended questions are used to make from the exploratory research to the main research. You transfer data, and that is done by interpreting each question, by reading every response, and every response. That is a more tedious process, more difficult to represent, but that is why exploratory research, the responses are limited to 100, 50, things like that, while for the main research you may have thousands of responses. It doesn't make a difference. You can always make a master table for 1,000 and get good response, and ultimately you will have only one graph which will tell you the whole story. Is that clear? How we use the open-ended question and closed-ended question.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, sir, all these, as you have written, respondent, question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4, and then respondent 1, 2, 3, and 4. Is it all about the close-ended question, sir?
Yeah, it's all about close-ended question.
Okay.
There is no open-ended question in master table, as I've said already. When you are using
And
a
sir,
master table,
sir.
Yeah.
And sir, after getting the responses and after making the master table, then we will go for the making the graph or making the table.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, the processes are known as you make a questionnaire, then you get the responses.
Sure.
So data collection, we call it. We collect the data, and then we do what is known as coding. So every questionnaire has got a name on it. We will just put 1 and circle it. That is coding. So that becomes my respondent 1. Second questionnaire I take up and write there 2 and circle it. So that becomes coding. questions also I can code, responses also I can code. So I can write there 1, 2 or A, B, C, depending on the response that I've got. So we have different kinds, which is known as editing, coding. Okay, these are the processes in research that we follow. And then of course we make the graph finally, which is our finding. And then we make a comment below that graph. For example, in the graph that we have just made, we can write that equal number of students believe that judge is a good profession and lawyers is a good profession. That is our finding. It could be different. Maybe sometimes 2/3 students believe or 1/3 students believe, and so on. Depends on our representation of the graph. So we can interpret, that is known as interpretation. And then we come to a conclusion based on a general response. So this is how we do the research. Okay. Now, coming back to another very important thing, and that is we now try to climb a little bit more of difficulty as far as statistics is concerned. As I've told you, we can make a simple frequency table, and that is sufficient. But you know, nowadays people are using SPSS. People are going for more difficult analysis. Okay, people are going for correlation. For example, the age of lawyers and the length of judgment. Can we correlate the two? So that is one question which will make for correlation. So we will have to analyze all those things. Now, before we go into those, we have to understand that basically there are two kinds. Data is divided into certain groups. Okay. So when we look at a data, we should be able to say which type of data it is. Okay. So we basically divide the data into discrete or continuous. Now, instead of discrete, you can, for understanding purpose, think it as not continuous. Continuous, you understand? Anybody has difficulty in understanding continuous?
No, sir.
It's clear. Something which doesn't have a break would be continuous. Anything which has got breaks in between, that would be known as discrete. Now, discrete data is again divided into two types. What are they? Continuous data is also two types: interval scale and ratio. Discrete data is of two types. One is nominal and the other is known as ordinal. Obviously, depending on this, different kind of statistics can be applied to this. So if your data is a nominal data, you perhaps cannot apply certain kind of statistics. For example, if we take chi-square, we need nominal data and interval scale data, then only we can have a chi-square. If we want to have these, let us go by the examples, then these will become more clear. Right now, in discrete data, we say that there are breaks. So obviously these will have breaks. Now, for example, in nominal data, we have neither any origin, nor we have any ordered preference, nor we have any direction. No origin, no direction. Okay, so let us write these. Origin, and then we have direction, magnitude, order. Okay, now nominal data will if you have any questions at any time, you can ask. Okay.
Sir, is it no origin or origin?
Origin, whether origin exists or not. If an origin will exist, then we will say, basically, I'm looking for a tick mark here so that I can tick it.
Okay, sir.
I used to have the tick right on top, but it is possibly been changed by somebody. Anyway, we can use any other symbol also and assume it to be ticked. Okay. So let's say that this slash is a tick. I couldn't get the tick right now. I usually get it. But if this slash is a tick, nominal data has got only magnitude. Is this clear? It doesn't have origin, no direction, no order. Obviously, the ordinal data will also have magnitude. So the ordinal data also has magnitude, but it also has an order. So it has got two ticks. How do we differentiate them from each other? This has got only one tick, this has got two tick. So they both do not have origin or direction, but nominal data will only have magnitude. For example, if the question is what is your gender, then this is a nominal data. because it has only got magnitude. It has got no order also. You cannot say that male is greater than female or female is greater than male. They are both without any kind of order. You can have different responses. So that is why it is known as nominal data. There are many such questions, the answer to yes or no. Well, lawyers or judges, there is equality there. There is no judges will come before lawyers or lawyers will come before judges. But when it is ordinal data, for example, educational qualification, then it has got, of course, magnitude, but it also has an order. Means that you will have to say, you cannot say that you have done your PhD before you have done your LLM. There is a particular order. You have to first do your LLM, then your PhD, and then your doctorate. Or if you understand it through the simple matriculation, inter, graduation. There is an order to it. You cannot have graduation before matriculation. So that is why it is known as ordinal data. There are certain questions which have got ordinal data. So they will have an order and a magnitude, but they will not have a direction or an origin. Now, you may say that, sir, there is a direction in this order, but that direction is not the direction that we are looking for. This is a vector direction that we are looking for. And that we will get in. So in interval scale, we have got 3 ticks. What are these 3 ticks? These are the 3 ticks. So we have direction, magnitude, and order. So when you look at interval scale data, if you studied your statistics in class 8, 9, 10, you will recall we had 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60. These are known as interval scale data. So there is an interval within which we make certain measures. For example, if you want to respond, take the response of salary, then is it below 10,000, 10,000 to 20,000, 20,000 to 30,000, 30,000 and above. This becomes an interval scale data. It doesn't have an origin. You can start from any direction. It will you have a direction, but you do not have an origin. There is no necessity of a zero. That is why it is without origin. If there is an origin, there will be a zero and you can go towards negative and positive both. So obviously the ratio data gets all the ticks. We can put all the ticks with the ratio data. Because it has got all the various options. For example, age. Now, you will say that, sir, how can age be negative? But what is BC? Before Christ. So we have taken a negative age of Christ. So we can always take a negative age. So it obviously any ratio data, height, we can have from all the various. So we see that in ratio data, it gets all the ticks. There is an origin, there is a direction, and there is a magnitude. And this concept is very important. Unless you know this, you will not know which statistics can be applied and which cannot be applied. So you have to have very clear about your, and that is, these are also important because when you frame questionnaires, you will have to see what kind of questionnaire I am framing, which kind of data I am collecting. And only for nominal data, the best interpretation is obviously a frequency table. For ordinal, we can go further interval scale data, and on Statio, we can apply almost all the statistics available. Okay, so any questions so far? Please let me know.
So please, the magnitude thing with in respect of these things.
Magnitude is basically anything which has got magnitude has got a particular length, weight, or volume. So that is magnitude. And that is why, because it had magnitude, we were able to compute the number of lawyers, number of judges. So magnitude in that case was your one vote went and gave a magnitude of 1 to that area which you had selected. Otherwise, if there is no magnitude, then you cannot add or you cannot subtract or you cannot see the difference, whether one is same or different. If only the magnitude tells us that they are both same, 7 and 7. So the magnitude of lawyers was 7, magnitude of judges were 7. That is magnitude. Is it clear?
If we got any magnitude, like any vote in no idea section also, that it be the magnitude of no idea.
Yes, exactly. If you have that, but the scaling will become different. That will be a 3-point scale. Okay. So that is the only difference. Otherwise, it is also nominal data, because whether you have no idea can come before or after doesn't make a difference. Okay, but if it is educational qualification, then there is a particular order to it. Any data which will have an order, a particular order, becomes a ordinal data. Clear? Any other question?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Good. Any other question? So now you can make questions, try to get responses, make graphs, and try to do it yourself. And if you have any issues, these graphs need not be made in computer only, they can be made by hand also. And
Sir, can you briefly once again explain the Likert scale?
yeah, definitely. A Likert is a 5-point scale. So you have to develop a 5-point scale on your own. For example, satisfied, very satisfied, satisfied, don't know, unsatisfied, extremely unsatisfied. This is a scale I develop, and I can have several questions which can give me this response. For example, with a response to your, say, cable TV. Are you satisfied with the picture quality? Are you satisfied with the generator backup? Are you satisfied by the content? Are you satisfied by the amount of money charged? Now, all these can have similar responses. The response side will be same. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Now, this becomes very important because this gives us to leads us to a theorem which says that if you have 5 questions of Likert scale, and if you add them up together, it will become a ratio data from basically nominal data. You can convert it into a ratio data. So with response to the cable TV, I have these 5-6 kinds of responses, add them all together, and I get a ratio data. So these are all there. So when it comes to data collection, it becomes very important. Missing data, how you can eliminate missing data, how you can ignore, some all response question as filled up may not be accepted, because when you are doing the editing, at that time you may realize that this respondent has not answered 3 questions, so you remove it. But then you have to, SPSS gives you the facility to note it as missing data, so that you know how many data were missing, and so on. And they can take a statistical survey that way also. So we have the Likert scale, which is, as I said, a 5-point scale, and it can be any 5-point scale. Semantic scale will always have a 7-point scale.
So, in nominal data, we can have any kind of scale like dichotomous or trichotomy, any kind of scale. It can be there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So you did not explain the ordinal one, or no? You just explained the
Origin has got a
the
0.
ordinal data, sir.
Ordinal I did. When I said ordinal, I talked about the educational qualification.
Okay,
It has
sir.
got a magnitude, and it has also got a direction. You cannot have PhD before LLM. That is what the ordinal data tells you. You have to, if you are responding the educational qualification, obviously if somebody takes PhD, you assume that he has got all the other relevant qualifications.
Okay, sir.
Somebody is asking something, or just गलती से microphone चालू हो गया. Okay, I think tomorrow we will start with.
Sir, I have one more question, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So, as you said about the ratio data in Likert scale, sir, as you also mentioned in the continuous data also, there was in one option ratio. So, is it same thing or it is different?
Please ask your question once again.
So, as you said right now that ratio data, it can be considered as a Likert scale. Yes, sir.
From a Likert scale, you can convert it.
Okay, sir.
If you have
So,
5
is it the
questions.
part of continuous data one?
Yeah,
So, as you mentioned.
it will move from one area to the other. That is through a theorem.
And it can we consider that theorem under this continuous data, which is
then the data that you will interpret, what will happen is these 5 questions will become 1.
Okay, sir.
And you will take the average of all the 5 responses, and that will become your
continuous
data. Exactly.
Okay,
Excellent.
Thank you so much, sir.
So what we will do tomorrow is, I'll just download the attendance. And what we will begin with tomorrow would be, say, a comparison. How do we compare? Okay, so we will discuss that in the next class. Anything else that you want to discuss, you will have to come up with it, and I'll respond. I'll be responding. If you tell me beforehand, then also it is fine. Otherwise, you can tell me at that moment also. We will discuss any other area of research that you feel that you want to know something about. SPSS, I will not be taking up right now, but I will try to arrange for a workshop on SPSS, maybe an online one where you can all join, and where I'll have some other experts, including myself. Then we will discuss SPSS also. SPSS is basically nothing but something like Excel, and that has got more power, and it is basically meant for the full form of SPSS itself will tell you that it is basically for research purpose only. Okay, and Excel is of course a general thing which includes all these, and tomorrow we will see how we can compare things and how we can use all other statistics using Excel. Okay. So today we just saw a simple frequency table. Tomorrow we will see in greater detail. Any questions? I have downloaded the attendance. Now we can close also, unless you have a question.
No, sir.
No? Okay.
No, sir. Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you. So this, first I must stop the recording, otherwise there will be an issue. Stop the recording.